What's up, family? Welcome to the Eavesdrop podcast. I am Neal Oates Jr. with the illustrious Mr. Marcus J. Scott.
Yo, I'm in the building. What's going
What's
on, Neil?
Man, nothing. You got the juice. You got the juice. So glad to see you today. How
I
you
got the
feeling?
juice now.
Man, come on, quit playing now. We ain't starting like this. Come on,
Oh
dude.
yeah, my bad.
Because
Yes,
see,
sir.
once again, I'm always trying to come serious, and you laughing, kikiing, and boboing, man. I'm trying to
No, sir.
bring.
That is not
I'm
me, sir.
because this is my normal behavior and my stance and posture. So I would like to discuss. Man, let me quit playing. All right. You know what? The word says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I act like a child. But when I became a man, what did I do with childish things?
I
What?
put away childish things.
I put away childish things. So sometimes we have to go from boys to men. What do you think about that,
Oh
Clutch?
man, that's a good segue. You
Now,
heard me?
boy, look, we
Okay.
we rolling right here. We
Look,
rolling.
look.
So one of like I don't know about you. I don't know if you know anything about music. I don't know
No,
if
not no.
you don't know what quality music is. You probably around here listening to Lil Geechee or Lil Uchi
Who?
Vert, Geechee Vert,
I don't know what that is.
Uzi Vert,
I
Lil
don't know what that
Yachty.
is.
You know
Who's
you
that?
man. We were riding together, and you had your playlist, and had a little Uzi Vert and little Gachi Gucci Yeechi
You sure that was
Geechee.
me?
That was you. That was Clutch.
Man,
I
I
know it
don't
was
know,
you because your
man.
ex girlfriend was like, "Hey, my
Man, see, there you go, man. You tripping. See?
hey, I'm playing, I'm playing."
Don't play
Hey, look,
like that.
not man.
Man, Craig, you always playing, man.
Why you let man? You saw that girl out there. Hey, now check this out. First of all, I'm not worried about your wife watching our podcast because if your wife is anything like mine, she don't care nothing about what we say on YouTube because she like he ain't even like that for real. My wife, I don't think she done watched the episode. I mean, she ain't even watched the episode that I interviewed her on. I'm like, babe, what did you think about the podcast we did together? She was like, oh, you put it up. You with me, but you ain't with me. With me. All
Man,
right.
you be
So
tripping.
speaking of Boys to Men had this song. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
To say
No. See,
goodbye.
there we go. Yeah. So hard to say goodbye, right? And so I was thinking, as we talk about putting away childish things when we become an adult or men, and with Boys to Men, um, we're always chasing success. One, not just success in monetary terms, but being better. But in that ride or that journey to the top, we have to say goodbye to some things, some people, some mindsets, some practices. And so I thought that would be a good thing for us to cover in our chat here on the Eavesdrop today. You up to it?
Yeah, man, but just real quick, I don't know if you had knew this. I was going actually had them come to the wedding. But they were
You were gonna have who come to the wedding?
boys to men, but they was booked up, so I
Who's
wasn't
wedding?
able
Your
to get them.
wedding?
Yeah. And then they was like, nah, but you can come over when we in Orlando. So I had went like probably like 2-3 weeks after the wedding, went over there and kicked it with them. Yeah.
You went over there and kicked it with him, or you went over there and watched the concert. There's a difference. Don't be telling me I went over there and kicked it with him. Did
Man, I
more
went over there and kicked it
25,000.
with them, man. See, like, see, man, y'all, see, I don't even be saying I ain't
See,
even like that. I ain't even like that, Craig. Ain't even
see.
like that.
I'm gonna make
See?
you go back in. I'm gonna make you go back and do the John Wick, right? And bust open the cement and be like, hey, listen, I don't talk about who I was, but Marcus J shouted. Hey,
Right,
shout,
right.
look me up. Ask about me, baby. Ask about me. Be like, hey, if you know, you know.
And
As
if you
Pusha
don't
would say.
know, now you know.
Hey, right? So Clutch is over here like, hey, I was gonna have them come to my wedding, but they were
You
booked.
know,
They did tell me, hey, hey Marcus J, we gonna be over here. Okay, so you did have a little bit of time in the arena, in the music, in the I'm not gonna say street because I don't know if you were all the way in there. You were in the ender, right? He was just in the though, right? So here we go. We
yeah,
put
here
away
we go. Let's
childish
go.
things, right? So let's talk. Have you ever had to leave somebody behind, leave some practice, some mindset? Now, I'd say people. Now, it's not just people, right? Maybe we had to leave some of the ways that we think. But all right, come on, you ready? And action, go.
I don't even know how to say it, man. I don't even know how to say it because Cause man, if you want to get to the next level, man, like when you go to the, everybody can't go with you, man. And there's certain stuff that can't go with you. When Jesus was with the 12 disciples, he was trying to go up and pray. He took two. Then when he went a little further,
Y'all
it was
stay
just
back
him.
here. Y'all stay back here. Y'all can go into the inner with me, right?
No,
And those are his homies.
and the homies, right? When Abraham took Isaac up, right? He took the whole crew. Then the crew, he's like, "Hey, y'all, stay right here. Take this boy Isaac up to the top." When you go to the top, man, you can't carry everything with you. Can't carry a bunch of baggage. Can't carry a bunch of people, man.
And
Just
so
that
on
simple.
that's where. But then I don't know if you remember the I never watched the show, but I think there was a survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt, right? So it was supposed to be me and my boys or me and my girls. We're supposed to go through this thing together. We started from the bottom and now we here. But I know we started from the bottom. Now I'm here, and not in a malicious way, right? But there are people, there are some practices that might have been needed or necessary in the beginning that are actually detrimental at certain phases, right? And so the thing that I always think about is when a rocket takes off, right? Now, yes, I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm not sure we ever went to the moon, but I have seen a rocket lift off. At least that much I believe. Right. I know our boy
I hope you
Fremo,
saw
he
one here in being in Florida and all. You know,
so I know our boy Fremo, he like, oh, here Jay go talking about that doggone moon. I think that was a shot in Area 51 in the desert. All that video. I'm just saying.
hey, don't talk
But
about
I
Area
digress.
51 now.
Oh my bad. Government still listening when you say Alexa and Bixby. All right. So, for me, I always think about what is needed to lift off. Maybe you need some people, maybe you need to grind and hustle to lift off and to get out of that initial gravity's pull or the atmosphere. But then you've got to let sometimes those people go, right? And I think that many of us, especially those from certain neighborhoods and upbringings and cultures, we're almost made to feel guilty if we start tasting success and start getting a little bit better, and now they're gonna be like, oh, so you're just gonna leave us now? That's what we're doing, right? So hold on, I was with you then, right? And so I think that's always a challenge we have. How do you, as someone who has gone through different levels in your journey and gone up and had to say, I love you, but I've got to leave you, how have you managed that?
Well, let me just first say it's not always people. So as you stated and started before, sometimes it's habits, sometimes it's stuff that's within us. Sometimes it's stuff like, and this is just an example, like pride, right? You want to get to a certain level, you might have to take some of that stuff off. But as far as people go,
It was
yeah,
hard to say goodbye
you,
to my ego and my pride, brother. Now that was hard to say goodbye to.
you did you say goodbye to it? Mm,
Yeah, I
you
said
sure?
I'll see you later. I said see you
Mm.
later.
Oh yeah,
It,
you're right. Because I think they hang out with you sometime.
The views of Marcus J. Scott are not the views of the viewers who love Neil Oates Jr. I know it. I don't take this guy serious all the time.
Well, yeah, man. So as far as people, man, like you really have to end up being comfortable with saying, "Hey, I love you," and I want what's best for you. Now, let me also say this: I don't necessarily think you have to verbally say that all the time, right?
Hmm.
But and if I know with my therapist, and for those of you who actually do seek counseling, they will tell you you have to have healthy boundaries, right? Um, I give you an example. When we're children, mom is mom, right? And once we leave the house and we find a good thing, right? A wife, uh mom can no longer do mom stuff that we did when I was a child, right? Likewise, some people in certain situations can't do and be that same person once you get in certain circles and certain areas and certain levels in your life. And so we have to be okay with having healthy boundaries.
So one of the things you talk about healthy boundaries, maybe with others, but what about those healthy boundaries with ourselves, right? As we go from boys and girls to men and women, and we have to say goodbye. What about the way we dress or the way we talk, right? Or even where we go. Sometimes we have to say goodbye not to people, but to environments that were comfortable before, right? We have to say goodbye to. We talk about those habits, right? Maybe you're at a point now where waking up at 8:30 to be at a job at 9 o'clock was your norm and it got you here. But what if now you have to say goodbye to waking up at 8:30 and going to bed at 11 to now waking up at 6 and going to bed at 9, right? So I know you mentioned it's not just people, but it's also those habits. So when have you had to come in and say, you know what? Here's this thing that has been good to me so far, but I have to say goodbye to so that I can get better and do what's best for you. Because ultimately, I know in previous episodes, you're a big believer that it's God first, then it's not your wife, but it's you second. Because if you're not taken care of, everyone else on the ship goes down. So when have you had to look at, your environment, your people, the surroundings, and say, I've got to change some stuff
So, anytime we're talking about growth and development, I think we should always be self evaluating all the time,
first?
right?
Oh my gosh, come on. But it's so much easier, Clutch, of man, you got some problems, and if you were easier and better, then my life would be better, right? How many times do we do that? Like, I don't want to look in the mirror. I want to look through the window pane and point fingers. And now you telling me I need to be better. I need to self-evaluate.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong word, right? Self evaluate, right? No, I mean, no, that's something that we definitely have to do, especially if we, talk about growing. And here's what's crazy. You know what? And I won't say I kind of figured this out in doing it because I kind of knew, but in doing it, it's one thing to talk about it and see it. It's something totally different to do it. But people always talk about they want to be entrepreneurs and they want their own business and all this stuff instead of going to somebody else's job, right? What they don't realize is
Be
exactly what you
careful.
just said a second ago. You no longer work from 8 to 5.
Oh Jesus. Oh,
Now,
I remember the days.
a lot of times, especially starting something, you're working longer hours.
How
Uh,
much we getting
you,
paid, Clutch?
man, at the beginning, you losing money. Yeah, I mean, there's almost no business where you start making money immediately, and you're working probably 3 to 4 times as much than if you going in to somebody's job and getting a
Be careful
paycheck,
what you
man.
ask for.
Not to mention, if it is your business, you responsible. The buck stops with you. People look at you as the developer of the service or the product. So even if you do have workers, you're responsible. They look at you. So in having my cleaning business, guess what? We had some people that
I'm
said,
calling
"Hey,
out sick. I feel this twinge. I should have
right,
drank some lemon
right,
water.
right, right.
Clutch, it's okay. It's okay.
Uh,
Don't worry about it, Clutch. I'll show up next week. I'll show up tomorrow. It's okay, boss. It's okay. I'll feel better.
so we had this one contract, and the people was like, Marcus, Tent, y'all, you guys are great, man, but you're workers, so we're gonna have to cut this contract and get somebody else. Now, what's crazy is they liked us as people, individuals, but we were responsible for our people.
Yeah.
And to their credit, to the individuals who we had the contract with, they told us, hey, we like you, but your workers, they suck. And so you guys, we asked you to make some of these corrections, and it's still happening. We're gonna have to let you go. It was a business decision on their part. Well, I had to take full responsibility and say I wasn't on them. I didn't make the change. I didn't, as we talking about, let them go. I was, hey, man, I really don't want to have to fire anybody. And, maybe if we go there more often, but I can't be there all the time. Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't make the decision to let them go. Hence, we lost the contract. Guess what?
Boy,
That all
ladies and
falls on
gentlemen,
me.
here's what I want to tell y'all. That was a different Clutch. Now Y'all keep on jacklegging around, messing with the church's money. Well, I tell you what, we gonna have one review meeting with you. The second time, we're gonna turn off your access. We ain't
Hey,
playing.
Steve Harvey said the best thing you talk about cutting people off and everything, right? He said the best thing I can do for broke people is not be one of them.
Uh, like the prophet Jigga Man. I can't help the poor if I wanted them. Come on, man.
Right, right.
They right here
So
messing up your money, they money, everybody. They going home, they're like, I'm sick. And you like, we lost the whole account because y'all over here tripping. But here's what you said though. You didn't say we lost the account because y'all messing up. You said we lost the account because I wasn't doing my part, right? I should have, said, hey, you all helped me get here, but for us to go higher, I am going to have to say goodbye.
right, right. And so a lot of times, especially as a business owner, you're gonna have to make those tough decisions. It's not about going back to that was more so dealing with the people, but going back to changing habits and things that you do different. I get up, have to start my day much earlier, not necessarily because, um, I have this conglomerate of stuff, although it is a lot of stuff. But in the morning, that's my quiet time to get my administrative stuff done. But before I even do that, I told you God is first, and we had talked about other things and putting stuff in priority order. So I got to have my devotion time. I got to get my physical man and mental in a right state. And then I need that time to administrate. But then doing work hours, now, okay, let's go to physical work and go see about the contracts and go and do this and go and do that when things are open. I'm no longer working 9 to 5. I'm working more like 4 o'clock in the
Five. I
morning
would say now we're going 5 to 9. We flipping those, and we're going from A to P, not P to A. What
right,
y'all talking
right.
about,
From
man?
5 in the morning to like 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. Right.
On a
Ain't
regular
9 to 5,
basis.
it's 5 to 9. I like that. I'm gonna have to write it down.
Hey, come on now. Hey, make
No
sure
more, no more,
it's spell my
no more
name
9 to 5, but
Neal,
5 to 9.
Neal. Put the Neal Oates Jr.
The
Make the Ohio State, the Morehouse, the Omega side. Oh, look at you,
right.
boy.
Hey,
Quit
you see,
playing.
hey, your money book look kind of new. See how mine all beat up and everything.
See, that's because I get new ones so frequently. I got this one right here, and I'm just now maybe 10 pages in, right? This one right here look new, man. So I'm always putting in so much information that
Hmm.
I probably go through. Um, I say I probably go through 2 or 3 money books a month. That's how
Oh
much
wow.
content that I am digesting, so I can be better, right? So that I
Yeah.
can maybe leave something, leave legacy, maybe leave some gems, some jewels behind. Now, you mentioned something earlier here that, I was the guy I didn't like to have to fire someone. Well, first of all, one of my friends, Derek, he says, I don't fire people, they promote themselves to customer, right? So
Hmm.
that's a promotion when you say, listen, I no longer work for this entity. I am a customer of if I choose to employ their services. So you saying that you don't like to do these things, but they're necessary. So, what are some ways? And so I'll answer first, but the question is, what are some ways that you go about and maybe have to say no, say goodbye to some things, some practices, to some environments? So I know for me, one of the things I have written down in my book, and it's been a fantastic reminder for my life, is that people only change when the pain to change is less than the pain of staying the same.
Mm.
Right. And so for
Hmm.
me, one thing for me to say goodbye to environments or for habits, I'll say habits is a big one for me. I would look and see, well, man, I don't like where I am right now. Right. And a lot of time it wasn't the people that needed to change, it were the habits that I was doing on a daily basis. And so for me, it was okay, how bad do I really want it? I know you being a follower of E.T. Eric Thomas, talking about that guru story, right? How bad do I really want this? Do I really want it bad enough to change and say goodbye to sleeping in? Like for health purposes, right? Do I want to change my physical body and what I can move and how long I'm around bad enough to stop eating certain things, to actually get up and exercise, to do what's uncomfortable but beneficial instead of what's detrimental and what's comfortable, right? And a lot of it starts right here,
Yeah.
right? I just
Yeah.
know that there's a fear involved in changing or saying goodbye to what's comfortable and what's usual to us. So, is there something that you use besides just the discipline and just viewing where you want to be that's going to help you make those hard, tough decisions of saying, yeah, something's got to change. I've got to say goodbye to something, if not someone.
You're asking me what helps me to make that decision?
Yeah.
So you were talking, you just said something a minute ago, and I was trying to remember if I, the reason I was looking around is I was trying to remember if I read that and which book it was in, that a lot of times we don't make the change until the pain
That things
is
start
painful,
hurting.
painful enough to make the change, right? And I have now learned because I used to be that way, right? Well, it'll, I'll do that when, it's still all right. And then you don't change it until you're made to change it, right? Um, my mom used to tell me when I was young, and I ain't really understand it before. I definitely understand it now. Um, would tell me, say, hey, you might want to, change that, or you might want to do something different. All right, now don't let God slow you down and make the change for you.
So hold on, clutch right there. So my folks are telling me you can either move or be moved. And I was like, what you talking about? Listen, you can either move or God can move you. And I was like this, like, dang, oh, he's a loving father. Be like, yeah, your loving daddy have to beat you sometime too. I'm like, oh, Jesus, okay. So now I'm trying to move. So your mom is saying, hey, you can either act and be proactive before that pain gets in, because a lot of times we know, like, we might not know everything to do, but we start having these hints. We get that intuition. Even the fellas, we start hearing those small whispers. We see the writing on the wall from God our Father, who's telling us, hey, I make your path clear. I might not be straight and easy, but I made it clear. Do you want to move or do you want me to move you?
Or if he doesn't move you, right?
Uh oh.
Um, come here, Jonah.
Uh oh.
Let me hold you for a little while, and you can't go nowhere. Can't do nothing
Sitting in it.
since you don't want to do and go where I told you to go. Let me sit you down for a while where you can't do nothing until you understand. And that goes back to that pain, boy. Because one of my the thing I hate the most, boy, is somebody telling me what to do, when to do it, or that I can't do it on my own free will, or and whether that be from a physical, I can't get up myself or do my own thing, out of sickness, or whether I'm restrained based on finances, whether I'm
Mm-hmm.
restrained on because of others. Like that's painful, and so those are some of the things now, though, that one of the things I just said this the other night. One of the things that I pray for on a daily basis is wisdom for God to give me direction, because I want to move and change and do things before it gets to that painful part, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I personally do, is I pray for wisdom to see exactly what you were talking about. Some of those signs and change. Ask myself, God, is this you with this sign? If so, then help me to move in that direction,
All right.
because I don't
So,
like that painful feeling, man. I had enough of that. I had enough of that.
all right, but because we talk about boys to men, hard to say goodbye. What is one of the hardest things that you've had to say goodbye to on your journey, right? As you've gotten better, as you've put away childish things, is there a habit? Is there a thing? Is there a practice or something that you look at now where you say, man, it was hard then, but now I'm also seeing a benefit, a huge benefit from it. Hey,
I
now
hate to
hold
say
on.
this. I
Wait.
hate to say that.
The views of Marcus J. Scott are not the views of Neil Oaks Jr. and the Eavesdrop podcast. I threw this question out. I'm not making him answer it. Culpable negligence. Now you got to use your discernment. Let that Holy Spirit whisper in those earphones. You might need to plug into a different source. Yeah, come on. I'd be scared to ask you questions because you don't know. You be like, oh man, it's just us talking. Technically it is, but technically it ain't. You know, I ain't gonna tell nobody, but I'm gonna publish everything.
So one of the things that I am still currently working on, and I really do try this, is saying no.
Oh, come on.
That is something really hard. So I guess since we are talking about what's so hard to say goodbye, it's hard to say goodbye to yes, because I want to please people. I want to do for others, right? Somebody asked me to do something. Oh yeah, I can help you out. Oh yeah, I can help you out. Oh yeah, I can help you out. And before you know it, then I'm burnt out, right? And so, or like we were talking about before, then I'm dropping the ball somewhere else, right? Because I'm putting too much on my plate. And so that's something that I'm, and because it's just me and you. Right
So
now, I'm working on dropping the saying yes all the time.
So I don't want nobody
I'm
to ask Clutch to do nothing or join no boards. Me and your wife be getting on you about this all the time, man. People like, hey Marcus, we think you should be like, yeah, yeah. And Marcus, we think you should, yeah, yeah. This dude is on 17 different boards, committees. He's leading the revolution, fight the power, all that stuff. And me and your wife around here looking at each other like, did you tell him? Like, I told him. Did you tell him? She's like, no, I told him. Oh, so he just ain't listening to neither one of us. He just around here saying yes. And then so you should learn from me because I be telling all the time,
oh
yeah, we
man.
should get. I'm like, nope, let me check. I don't think that's possible. If that changes, I'll be glad. Be sure to let you know. Right. But what did I say? I did say yes to consistency with this podcast, and we
By the
are
time you say yes
rolling.
to something.
Hold on, about time you
Mm.
say no to something, what you not finna do? What you not finna do? Sit, boy. Don't play with me. You remember Ghost Dad, right? And I know we shouldn't mention Bill Cosby, but when Bill Cosby went through the phone and he did that and grabbed that little boy, hey, come on, man, it's crazy what we can't even talk about now, right? See,
Yeah, man.
because we went boys to men with R&B. We were gonna do a R. Kelly.
I was just about to say you can't even say his name, man.
This was crazy. As a kids pastor, the song, I believe I can. Hey, no. So hold on. Here we go. So it's like this. I believe I can.
Man, you crazy.
We can't even show Space Jam at church no more, man. We have movie night. What y'all watching Space Jam? Two, right? Two. Not Michael Jordan. Why? Like, why not? What? My bad, bro. My bad. I forgot. All
Man.
right. All right. So something that I have had a hard time to say goodbye to, it is a position that I have, and it is not a physical position, but the position of being indifferent, right? And so
Hmm.
it's better for me to either like you, love you, or hate you, right? One or the other. But when I become indifferent to people, when I become indifferent to situations or circumstances, that's when I'm at my most dangerous, right?
Mm,
When I don't care, oh, I'm
mm.
scary, right? When I get to the point when I say, hey, I don't care, that's a dangerous place for me and those around me to be. So I've had to say goodbye. Now it's one of those, like, indifference for me is one of those things where you've seen those pranks on IG or YouTube where people might hook a snake, like a fake snake, to someone's belt or to their shoe, and when they walk, they be chasing them and they be trying to run away from it, and no matter where you go, it's right behind you. That's how indifference
I
is for
haven't
me,
seen that, but
man. So good, because that means you're watching better stuff than I'm watching when I get online, right? So I'm not watching TV, but every now and then I look at one of those YouTube shorts and it just takes me down. Next thing I know, I see people just running from all stuff that's attached to them, like for 30 minutes straight. So for me, I have to make sure that I'm saying no to the spirit of indifference. Otherwise,
hmm.
I find myself not caring. And instead of hating or loving, I become indifferent, and I will start to, not that I tolerate it, but I'm like, listen, and the phrase that comes to my mind and what I often say is, you're dead to me. And when someone
Mm.
becomes dead to me, yeah,
Yeah.
that's dangerous. And so that's the spirit that I'm always having to say, get behind me, let go, let me become a man and adult, and let me leave that. So before we wrap this episode, Clutch, what you got for the people, man? Anything you want to share, add, ask the people, man?
I don't know, man. What I really want to ask the people is, and you got to put it down in the comment section. How are you liking this show? I mean, are we really? Is this something where we are? Because we are
Yeah,
being,
I'm glad you asking, because
we
I
are
want them
being.
to say it sucks, so I can stop recording this thing. So I can say
See,
no and not feel like I'm leaving the people behind. I'm ready to
see,
leave this podcast behind, Clutch.
see,
I ain't
man,
got
you
no
tripping,
raise.
man.
I
See,
asked for
I
all blue, world renowned blue M&Ms. I ain't got those.
see. I'm for the people, man. It don't matter. I'm here.
I'm for the streets.
I
No, I'm
want
just
to hit.
kidding.
I want to help people get to that next level. You know what I'm saying? We've been through some stuff. Well, I've been through some stuff that I feel like I can help others. Where you don't have to take the same path. If I take street number 2 and I say, hey, there's a
I ain't been
pothole
through
there.
nothing. I'm
You
perfect.
might want to take
I'm
street
perfect.
number 3.
I ain't made no mistakes,
Yeah, I know.
y'all.
I know. Hmm.
I might hang out with some bad people.
We hang out with a lot of bad people, man. Y'all don't let Neil fool you.
And so I slipped up in the last episode, and I was like, Jay. They're like, who is Jay? Like, Jay. Like, boy, let me tell you. One day, I was after I had left school, so I had a nickname in school, and I was grown, and I heard somebody say my nickname, and I'm like, oh Jesus! I thought, boy, if you know me through that stretch, there was a 3.5 year stretch of my life when I was in college. There was a 3.5 year
Mm,
stretch,
mm, mm.
boy. When they be like, "Yo, Jay,"
I
I'm
don't
talking
even want
about
to
you.
talk about my stretch.
Mm-mm. Cause see, look, cause yours, cause you were in college for like 9 years, right? You getting your associates. Hey, there's this stretch. So my stretch is like this. Clutch's stretch is. I don't. Oh, hey y'all, we still going. We outside the frame. Like he's like the woman that had the issue of blood. 12 long years. 12 long years. Man. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, man,
So
I'm
you
good.
want people
I'm
to
through,
put
man.
in the chat. You want them to put in the chat if they're loving what they're liking about the show, right?
Oh yes, and then even do this for us. Topics and things that you want to hear. It's something that maybe we haven't touched on or talked about yet. So we got a lot of stuff that's coming up that I think will be very beneficial and helpful from not just a business standpoint, but also from a personal growth standpoint. But if you think that it's something you want to hear about, something that we haven't covered yet, something you would like us to cover and just talk about and hear what we have to say or our opinion on it. Send it to us, put it in the chat, email us, you know, uh,
Hey, I
send a
tell y'all
pigeon,
what,
whatever.
don't like the homing pigeon smoke signal, all that. Don't be asking about our wives because we will cut you. I'm just letting you know right up front. Don't play. That's a game you don't want to play. You'll
Mhm.
be dead to us and everybody else that know you because you
And
might
you
really
heard what he
be.
just said about if you become
Hey,
dead to him.
hey, this is a dangerous place. All right, so here's what I am going to ask you all to do. So Clutch wants you to drop your comments. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions, some interests, some things that you want. I'm going to ask you to share this with someone.
Yeah.
We know that we cannot do this alone. We cannot do life alone. So share with those that you care about, those that you want to see better. Maybe there are some people who are struggling or challenged with the very thing that we talked about today, saying goodbye to some habits, saying goodbye to some practices, or even to some people, maybe to some environments. And ultimately, our goal is to help everyone get better. We know, we believe firmly that this thing called life is our one shot to be and do everything that God created us to do. And we cannot play small. So, Clutch, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. I appreciate you continuing to hold me accountable. I appreciate you bringing me along with the ride and not saying goodbye to me, even though you probably should have a couple of times on this ride when you're like, yeah, I'm going places, man. I don't think you're going to be able to go there with me. I'm going to the mountaintop. I'll see you at summit number 2, right? At base camp number 2. That's what it is. I'm going to the summit. I'll see you coming back down, player. Like, but that's my car. How are you going to take my car? Hey, Don't worry, I'll take your car. I'll bring it back full of gas, new car wash, new tires, everything. So I want to say I love you, dude. I appreciate you. And to everyone watching, we appreciate you. We want to remind you that we love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time we see you or you see us, don't be average.
Be world renowned.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.